Okay, let's move on to Word Lab 3. In this lab, we're going to finish up the resume and we're going to move on to a fun project. So the last thing that we need to do is the spacing of this document. This is the example of a completed resume, and this is the one we're working on here. You see there's a lot of extra spacing here. And if you scroll down between the work history and the first work history, the spacing is real crowded. And the same thing with the education. The spacing is real crowded in ours. Here's the example of what it should look like when it's done. So the spacing there is what we're looking at. So if I'm going to maximize this so we can see. When you're done, this'll be a good format for a resume if you want to use it for later, okay? But when you're done, compare it to this page here to make sure everything looks okay. But more than that, before you turn it in, make sure to turn on your formatting marks and check your formatting marks. And I'm going to show you why, because one of the things we're going to do is remove all of the extra spaces. So when I go to grade this, I'm going to turn yours on with the formatting marks, and I'm going to make sure that there's no extra spaces. Because if I do that right now, on this document, you see all these extra spaces here. This is an extra space. There's an extra space here. There's extra space up here. So we're going to go and remove all of that so the document looks finalized. So the very first thing that we're going to do, I'm going back up to the first page, is we are going to change the header spacing. Right after the email address, we're going to make 12-point spacing. There we go. And that's sort of hard to read, I know it is, but the header on the email address, there should be 12-point spacing after the email address. So what we do is we go into the header and we choose the line, get onto the line right where the email address is. And you're going to go to the Home tab and the paragraph group. And in this paragraph group, down here in the middle, you see the spacing. And there is no spacing before or after. Well, the instructions say 12-point after. So you're going to scroll up here until you see 12-point. And you're going to click OK. Now that increased the spacing there. So let's go on down. All bold and bold underline items 12-point before. So I'm going to go down into the body, click into the body, and every place where it is bold or bold and underlined, see they're bold or bold and underlined, you want 12-point before. So I'm going to go back to the paragraph group, and in the before, make it 12-point. Click OK. The same thing, here's another one. And I'm going to make this 12-point before. And look what has happened down here in the bottom. I'm back at 2 pages. I'll show you in a minute how to resolve that. So work history, I want 12-point before. And I'm going to go down. Now remember I said bold. See here, body works, I want 12-point before. See, there's no space. So I want 12-point before. And we said every place. I'm going to go ahead and do these because I want 12-point before. And I'm going to go down here in education. I'm really making a mess of this. Whoop, not after. That should be back at 0. And I have it at 6-point. There we go. Okay, Fresno City College, 12-point before. And down here, the last one is Central High, 12-point. Now, I should have that on every one of the bold or bold, let me see here, bold or bold and underline. So now the next thing I want to do is spell check my document. You see here there's a lot of spelling errors. Everywhere there's a red line, it's a spelling error. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize this so you can see it. And to do your spelling, you can do one of two things. If you don't remember how, under the Review tab, there is a spelling and grammar. But if you don't remember what tab, go to the Tell Me What You Want to Do and type in spelling. And click on Spelling and Grammar. And this screen will come up and it will tell you fabrication is spelled wrong. Do you want to ignore that or do you want to change it? So I'm going to change it. Manager is spelled wrong. Oh, what it's telling you is these two spaces after it. So it's going to change that. And now special order should have a hyphen between the word special and the word order. And the same thing here. You've got two spaces after the word college. So, and associates. Now, what you need to do is be very, very careful. Choose which one this should be. Should it be associates, or should it have an apostrophe, or should there be no S? Well, it happens to be the first one, so I'm going to click change that. Now, challenge is not spelled right. We're missing an E. So I'm going to choose the correct one from the list and click change. Torchmate is correct. That's a brand name. So I'm going to ignore that. And this should be plasma. So it's a plasma cutter. So I need to look down the line, select plasma. See, that's all. You don't just click on the first one. Make sure you're getting the right one. And hazardous. I'm going to change that. And then it's going to tell me that my spelling and grammar check is done. Now let's see what's next. Next, once we've done the spelling, you're going to compare it and you're going to turn on this show hide. And what we want to do, we want to remove all of the formatting marks not found on page 3. So let's go down here to page 3 and compare this. So you can look, I've got two formatting marks here, one in the header, and I need to delete that. I'm just pressing my delete key. Then you won't have that problem if you're on a full screen. Go down into the body of the document, and I've got another one here. See there? So I remove that. Here's another formatting mark, and here's another one. You see, this document, the final one, doesn't have all those. So I'm just removing all of these. Okay? So I'm removing all those so my spacing will be correct. And look at here, I'm back on one page. But there is other formatting marks that you need to look at. And if you look at this, you see here, there are lines where there is a lot, let me find them, a lot of spaces. Well, they were all removed with the spell checking. But you need to check and see if there are any extra spaces. We already removed those, the ones, that extra dot means somebody presses space bar. Okay, and we've got all of these removed from here. So it looks like we have removed all of the extra formatting marks. And yours should look exactly like this. If you have extra spaces in here, you come and you see all these extra spaces, what you need to do before you turn in this document is go here, and I'm backspacing, remove all of these extra spaces. So all of your formatting marks are removed, and you match exactly here. Once you've done that, You are done with Lab 3 unless you want to do the extra credit. There are 2 extra credit options here. You can use the replace command to replace the ACE. If you look here, here's ACE under the welding, and replace it with acetylene. And the margins, if you see the sample here, this on our document, all of the margins are at a 1/2 inch. But what we want you to do, or they're at 3/4 inch, I'm sorry. For extra credit, if you can figure out how, set the header at 1/2 inch and the rest of the document at 3/4. And you see here how the letter K is over a 1/4 inch farther than the word summary. But only do that on the header for extra credit. Otherwise, if you don't want the extra credit on it, you're all done with Lab 3. Okay? And I will see you. We've got, let's go back over here. On Lab 3, you have, on 3.2, you have right here for submission. I do want to there are extra learning videos here if you want to use them. Okay? Bye.